Did you know there's one simple thought that can change your life in powerful ways? Okay, so the truth is there's a whole list of simple thoughts that can change your life in powerful ways. But we're only talking about one today. And partly why we're only talking about one is that the power of this thought, and really the power of all the thoughts on that list, come not from knowing them and not from having them in your sort of proverbial self-improvement toolbox. It comes from actioning it. And when we take something step by step, one at a time, it's a lot easier to action it. So talking about one simple thought means that it's going to be a lot easier to implement than if I give you 100 simple thoughts and just sort of say go for it. So what is this one simple thought? Well, it's really a question, and it's a question that can be phrased in many ways, and you can actually craft it into the words that work best for your own way of thinking. And before I get to it, I also want to give the caveat that you may have heard this question before, and it may be in your sort of self-improvement, better life toolbox. And if that's the case, make sure to approach it with an open perspective and realize that, again, the power isn't in knowing this question, the power is in utilizing this question. Realized I didn't introduce myself. So, hey, it's Matt Henry, BigSkyRise.com. So what is this question? Well, the question is, how can I view this differently? And like I said, it can be said in many different ways. Another way is, how can I change my perspective of this circumstance or this situation or this event? And the meaning really behind it is just taking whatever you happen to be facing at the moment and trying to find different viewpoints of it, trying to find different aspects of it and different elements to it. When you look for these different aspects, when you try to actively find another viewpoint, there are a few things that you do, and this is partly where the power comes in. First thing that you do is you separate yourself to a degree from whatever you're facing. So if it's an event, if it's a circumstance, or even if it's something like a thought or an emotion, you're able to distance yourself from it and give yourself space and time to think in a more clear manner. A lot of the times our actions in life are based off of patterns almost. We have certain ways of reacting to certain things just based off of how we've done it previously in life or by witnessing other people. And so this question really gives us an opportunity to step back and ask ourselves, how do we want to react to this in our best form? Another way that it's powerful is that it actually does open up your eyes to opportunities that would be easily missed otherwise. You're able to see things with this extra space and distance that you wouldn't be able to see necessarily otherwise. And you're able to recognize that a situation isn't necessarily all bad or all good. It has elements of each to it. And you can interact with them and take parts of those elements with you and deal with it in a way that fits best for who you are, what you need, and what you're looking for. And so really you can start to live your life in a more present way, and you can live your life interacting with events and things in a more conscious way. And that presence and that mindful interaction is another powerful aspect of this question. This question, in essence, allows you to start to be more mindful in your day-to-day life. And that mindfulness carries all the benefits that mindfulness does, all discussed in previous articles and will be approached in future articles. But it, like I said, it brings you into the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, you can really be, you can really live, and you can really act in the way that you'd like to act. So a lot of the time we react to situations, like I said, and later on when we look back at it, we're like, why did I react that way? That's not how I am, that's not who I am, that's not how I want to act. And at that point, of course, it's too late. The past is the past, you can't change it. But if you're interacting with the present moment by asking a question like this, you can change it while you have the opportunity, which is now. So, like I said, it's a powerful question, but the point is you have to implement it, you have to action it. You can't shove it away into a toolbox and it works some magic and all of a sudden life is better. It's only when you start bringing it into those moments that you start changing things. And not only are you changing your perspective on those events and actions and moments, you're actually starting to change the conditions and circumstances that will be coming in the future. Because as you act more consciously, as you behave more in the way that you'd like, which most of us like to behave in a positive, sort of happy manner, you actually start to create an effect on the environment that you're in. So for example, let's say that you're at work and somebody happens to say something that frustrates you, upsets you, and kind of tickles a nerve. You have a couple options with that, and typically what ends up happening is that sort of frustration gets carried through the day, and there's moments of snappiness and shortness that pop up into other places, like in meetings or interactions with other coworkers or even the same coworker. But if you're able to ask that question at the very start and say, how can I view this differently? When that coworker says whatever they happen to say, you may be able to see it from their point of view, and maybe they're saying something completely different than maybe how you initially interpreted it, or maybe you realize where that particular thing is coming from. And so you're able to, again, interact with it in a new way. You're able to either realize there's a positive element to it, or at the very least, you're able to distance your emotions from it. And instead of carrying it with you as some sort of negative baggage, you're able to discard it, or at least set it aside. And as you go through your day now, instead of it having dragged down your day, it's something that really you don't even think about. And so now, instead of being short and snappy in the meeting, you are positive and energetic, and as a result, the people around you see you as being a positive, energetic person. And most people tend to want to be around positive, energetic people, and they like to present things to positive, energetic people. So as you keep doing this, you become a positive, energetic person, and opportunities will be brought to you by other people, which again changes your circumstances. So anyway, there are many examples of this in real life, not just random hypotheses and hypotheticals that I share here. So take a look at your own life, look into your past to start, see where you could apply this question, both in terms of how could you view it differently at this point, and also how could you have viewed whatever circumstance or event or situation differently at that point. This exercise kind of allows you to do two things. First, it gives you a lesson in seeing how the same situation can be seen in many different ways. And secondly, it also allows you to release baggage that you may be carrying with you from the past. And so that on its own is a powerful thing. But it also helps give you some practice to taking this question into the present moment. So that is the next step. How can you take this question and start applying it in your day-to-day? How can you be sure to carry it with you as a tool that you use on a moment-by-moment basis? Because like I mentioned earlier, our sort of everyday, moment-by-moment, small little incidences, those are the things that add up to big things in life. Those are the things we interact with the most. So if you can start changing that and start interacting with those things in a more powerful way, then you change your life in a powerful way. Anyway, if you are watching this anywhere other than BigSkyRise.com, I encourage you to head over there, check out the blog, read any articles you haven't yet, and leave your comments, feedback, thoughts, anything that you wish. And at the same time, please leave me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on this video. Let me know if it was helpful, maybe a little bit too rambly, that type of thing. Anyway, enjoy your day and enjoy the time until I see you again. All right, bye-bye.